There is a moment when life takes everything from you, not slowly, all at once. And in that moment you do not feel sad. You feel something worse. You feel like the ground beneath you was never real, like everything you built was built on air. And the only thing left is you, standing in the wreckage asking one question. Why? This is the story of a woman named Leah, and the morning she finally stopped asking why and started to see. Leah was 38. In the space of 1 month, her marriage ended. Her company let her go, and the apartment she and her husband had shared for 6 years. Gone. She moved into a single room in a boarding house at the edge of a small town. The room was narrow. The walls were thin. The window looked out onto a brick wall. And every morning, she woke up wondering if this was what the rest of her life would look like. She knew no one. She had almost nothing. And every night she lay in the dark and felt the weight of it. Not just the loneliness, but the certainty that she had failed at the most basic task of being alive. She did not pray. She had stopped believing long ago, not out of anger, out of exhaustion. She had asked for help before, many times, and the help never came. So she stopped asking. One morning in early spring, Leah walked into a small church at the edge of the village. Not to pray, not to find comfort. She simply had nowhere else to go. The boarding house felt too small. The streets felt too empty. She stepped inside. The air was cool and still. Light came through the stained glass and painted the stone floor. She sat down in a pew near the back. She did not close her eyes. She simply sat. And for a long time, there was nothing but silence. That is when she noticed the man. He was outside, visible through a side window. Old, maybe 70, kneeling in the garden, his hands in the earth. He was planting something. His movements were slow and careful, like he was not rushing toward anything. Leah watched him for a while. Then she went outside. The man looked up as she approached. He did not seem surprised. He simply nodded. His name was Brother Augustine. He was not a priest. He was simply a man who had tended the church gardens for over 30 years. He had lived through a war. Leah would learn later that he had been a medic in a field hospital, that he had lost his wife and 2 daughters in a bombing. When he came home, there was nothing left, and that he had walked until he found this church and started digging in the earth, and he had never stopped. Leah sat on the stone bench nearby. Something about the stillness made the words come. "How do you do it?" she asked. "How do you keep going? After everything?" Augustine did not look up. He kept working the soil with his fingers. Then he said, "Because I learned something. I cannot see the whole picture, not from where I am standing. I can only see the piece I am holding. And the piece I am holding, right now, today, almost always looks like the worst thing that has ever happened to me." Leah felt something tighten in her chest. Augustine continued, "Think of a puzzle, a large one, thousands of pieces. Someone hands you one single piece. You look at it. It is dark, shapeless. You might think, this is broken. This should not be here." He smiled quietly. "But that piece is not broken. It is simply not yet seen in context. The moment the full picture assembles, that dark piece becomes essential. Without it, the image has a hole." He looked at Leah for the first time. His eyes were tired, but not defeated. The eyes of someone who had seen the worst and chosen every day after to keep planting. "Your life right now looks like one dark piece. I know. I have held that piece myself, but it is not the end of the picture. It is simply a part you cannot yet understand. Think of the night sky. During the day you cannot see a single star. But the moment darkness comes, the deeper the darkness, the more stars appear. They were always there. You simply could not see them until the light was gone." Leah's darkest moment was not the absence of something. It was the condition that would let her see what had always been there. Leah sat with Augustine for a long time that morning. The light moved slowly across the garden. Birds sang in the hedgerows. The earth smelled rich and alive. And he did not preach to her. He did not tell her to believe. He simply worked beside her, hands in the earth, quiet and steady. Before she left, he said one last thing. He said, "There is a sculptor and a block of marble. The sculptor does not create the figure. The figure is already inside the stone. The sculptor only removes what does not belong. Every strike of the chisel is not destruction. It is revelation." He looked at her gently. "What is happening to you right now does not feel like sculpting. It feels like being destroyed. But something is being revealed. Something that was always inside you, something that could not have appeared any other way." Leah walked back to the boarding house that morning in a different kind of silence. Not the silence of emptiness. The silence of someone who has just been handed a piece of something enormous. The brick wall outside her window looked the same, but something inside her had shifted. Even though the darkness was still there, she felt that the darkness was not the end. Leah stood at the edge of the quiet church garden, her spirit as weary as the winter soil, wondering if anything could ever truly change. Augustine did not look up immediately. His hands moved with a quiet, practiced grace, deeply anchored to the earth beneath him. He offered the trowel without a word, an invitation to begin a journey that required more than just physical labor. "Dig deep," he seemed to suggest. "The earth must be prepared to hold the life we cannot yet see." Leah pressed the seed into the darkness, a tiny prayer of hope buried in the cold, silent ground. Days turned into weeks. Through the rising sun and the heavy rains, the surface of the garden remained unchanged and still. Patience is a difficult harvest. She sat in the silence, feeling the weight of the weight, surrounded by empty rows of dirt. 3 months had passed when she returned once more, her heart quieted by the long, invisible work of the seasons. There, breaking through the crust of the earth, was a fragile spark of green, a tiny, defiant testament to life. The realization hit her then. Growth wasn't just happening in the soil. Something had been quietly transforming within her own heart. Like stars appearing in the deep night, or a sculptor's hands revealing the form within stone, true growth is often hidden. Leah looked toward the horizon, her face reflecting a strength that wasn't there before, a peace forged in the waiting. Trust the process, for even in the darkest moments, the seeds of your future are reaching for the light.